Good afternoon and good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm Fiona Dominico, Regional President with the Castle Group. For those board members who are joining us today who are our current clients, thank you for being here. And for those of you that may not be super familiar with Castle, I want to just give you a little bit of an idea about who we are. So Castle Group is a privately owned and operated firm. We have partnered with over 300 communities throughout the state of Florida and Texas. And we specialize in communities with on-site staff. Many of our communities are highly amenitized. So they've got full lifestyle, they've got beautiful amenities. Many of them would have restaurants on site. And Castle has over 1,700 teammates that help us deliver royal service to all of our residents. And we've got some specialized departments. So from information technology, which is one of our topics today, lifestyle services, we've got a complete food and beverage department, high-rise and large-scale associations we specialize in, and a full HR and recruiting team. So thanks for being here today. And we hope that myself, along with all of the panelists, we've got some great topics to chat about and how information technology and we integrating technology in the market today, especially with the recent pandemic and things that we can do hopefully to help maximize everybody's efficiency. So with that, I wanted to take a moment and introduce our panelists. So we have Adam from Brightview, we have Leo from Converge Services, Tommy from Securitas, and Alex from VendorSmart. So if we could take just a minute, Adam, if you'd like to say hello and kind of tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure, yeah. Again, Adam Taft. I'm a business developer with Brightview Landscape Services. I've been with the company for a few years now and work mostly with strategic partnerships. As the nation's largest commercial landscape maintenance provider, we are a company that focuses primarily on providing innovative, value-driven solutions to resorts, commercial properties, and obviously HOAs and condo associations. So it's great to be here. Brightview's happy to be a partner and looking forward to it.
Excellent, thank you. And Leo, welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Good afternoon and good morning. Leo Delgado, President and Founder of Converge Services, Inc., or CSI. We work nationwide on behalf of HOAs and condos and apartment owners and all types of housing to try to ensure that the proper networks are built in their communities are maintained. Traditionally, the service providers have been, I hate to say it, but monopolies, either the cable companies or phone companies. Like the world has changed dramatically, and it changed again during this coverage information. We're going to talk a lot about the changes. All of us are. But looking forward to share some of our knowledge. We strictly represent the property. We do not represent any of the providers. So it's a critical thing. When we started 25 years ago, it was all about video services and bulk for retail and all that. But obviously, things have flipped around completely to making the internet the most important thing. So it's important that you understand how critical it is to your residents that a consistent, large enough, sufficient internet is provided to that, and we ensure of you that if we're involved, we're there. And we're in it for the life of the agreement because technology changes daily. And in order to keep up with those changes through a contract, you need some extra help, and hopefully we'll be able to provide that for some of you. And we do already, so thank you.
Excellent, thanks, Leo. And Tommy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, Tommy Zarna, Director of Technology for Securitas. So we're well known as providing security services to our clients in the form of on-site guarding, mobile guarding, remote guarding, and electronic security, to name a few of our pillars. So on this call today, we'll be representing really our technology division, but of course, all of our pillars funnel into our holistic security approach for our clients.
Excellent. And last but not least, Alex.
Hi, guys. I'm Alex Delgado. I'm the co-founder and president of VendorSmart. We help communities and property managers find and vet vendors for projects that they have to get done in the community. I've been around for about 20 years in technology and 11 years in this industry, specifically working with management companies and communities to get technology into their operations.
Excellent, Alex. Thank you. So for all of our board members that have joined us today, kind of the format here is we have some questions that were submitted prior to. So I'm going to go through those questions, and then we as Gianna said, there's other questions you guys can certainly type in as you think of them. Feel free to chat those in, and I will make sure to keep watching the chat. So if you see my eyes moving around, that's what I'm doing, looking for those questions. And as I see them come in, I'll try to pose those to the appropriate panelists. So the first question we have is, how does technology impact what you do and the products and services you provide? So I think we'll start actually, Adam, with yourself in Brightview, although landscaping may not be one that people think automatically with, you know, what does landscaping and technology have to do? But enlighten us, Adam. Fill us in.
Sure, yeah. Obviously, in the intro there, you realize Brightview is one of the nation's leader, right? We're the largest in the nation as far as landscape services go. And, you know, we implement technology to streamline operations and better manage quality, you know, allowing our team members to focus on what's most important, which is obviously ensuring that we provide the best possible service to our customers. All in all, we've successfully implemented proprietary technology platforms across all verticals of our operations, right? Allowing us to more accurately and consistently estimate jobs, track customer requests, and manage quality, which has helped us achieve way better results, you know, for our clients, as well as way faster turnaround times. So at the end of the day, technology plays a large part in what Brightview does, although many wouldn't think that a landscape provider can kind of implement that, but we're proud of it, and we're happy what it's done for us as well as for our clients.
Excellent. And Tommy, from a Securitas standpoint, what would you say?
Yeah, so, you know, from our standpoint, technology really enables us to provide that holistic security approach for our clients. So we're able to pair technology with those on-site officers at times. So maybe we have an on-site officer doing visitor management at a front entry point, but there's a pool or a clubhouse in the back of the property. We're able to install cameras, provide remote guarding, whether that's from our officer at the front gate or whether our remote guarding team providing security for those areas where an officer isn't stationed at 24/7. So really technology is allowing us to complement those on-site officers, allowing our officers to focus on the priority of that community. So maybe the priority is visitor management, greeting people as they come through the front gates. And with technology, we're able to really do both while that officer is focusing on those key components.
And Tommy, have you seen that increase as far as like the remote cameras? And, you know, and I'm going to say in the old days, it was always, you know, an actual guard at the property. Are residents becoming more accepting of the remote guard?
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing a big rise really for the amenities in the pools, the clubhouses. So, you know, historically and still today, we'll have an officer making rounds, doing tours around those pools, maybe at midnight, maybe at 2 o'clock, maybe at 4 o'clock. But we're still exposed on the hours that the officer isn't physically making those tours. So by enabling cameras with remote guarding, we're able to really provide security coverage 24/7 for those amenities. And then some of our clients are actually removing the officers completely from the front gate and replacing that with remote guarding. So your visitor would now pull up to the front gate. They would press a button on a call box that would go to our remote guarding center. They would then be able to verify the visitor through a visitor management system and then remotely allow them access into the community. So we're seeing that more on the overnight shift becoming a popular option, whether that's the 10 to 6 shift or 11 to 7 shift when there's not a lot of visitor activity. So it's a good way to kind of complement the on-site guarding program that we currently have in place by adding in remote guarding or even adding in our mobile guarding as well to do some of those tours.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, it's interesting because I know I've seen it with our customers when it, you know, first came out, that technology became available. I think as we all are human, right? Everyone's sort of like, oh, I don't know about that, you know, new technology, but we're definitely seeing people being more and more accepting of it. Alex, can you share with us a little bit what your thoughts are on, how does technology impact what you guys are doing and the products and services you're providing?
Sure. Well, we're largely a technology company, so all of our services are delivered through a proprietary platform called VendorSmart today. And so if you're a manager that's looking to create a project that you need to have done in a property or a landscaping contract or a security contract or anything to that effect, you need to vet the vendors. You need to make sure that those vendors have the proper insurance, proper licensing, everything that you need in your county, state, city to provide those services. Not only do you need to do that at the inception of the contract, but you also need to make sure that those are kept throughout the life of the agreement. And so generally managers have the time to do it upfront, but they don't have the time to do it every day. So whenever there's a change in those contracts, our technology allows the manager to see a change in an insurance or in a license or anything to that effect, and we notify the managers whenever that happens. We also have a solution that helps the manager structure bids in a request for proposal so that it's easily consumable and comparable from an apples to apples perspective. So if you're a board member and you want to look at the top 5 bids for a project that you're trying to do, our solution allows you to create a fairly short 2 to 3 page executive summary that has all of the bids in the back with a comparison sheet that can very easily tell you in a minute's notice who is where.
Right. And that's a big one, I think, right? That's a great example of technology really saving time, making a process more efficient, and in the end saving money, which is fabulous.
Sure. For large scale contracts, a manager would spend easily 3 to 6 hours creating that document that takes 10 seconds to do through our platform.
Right. And we did have a question come in it looks like from Texas, and they're asking if, obviously Castle services Texas. Do you also service the Texas market?
So yeah, we're national in our services. We have about 2,000 communities across the country from Florida all the way to California.
Okay, fantastic. And Adam, Tommy, and Leo, do you also service the Texas market? I apologize, I don't know off the top of my head.
This is Leo. Yes. Absolutely. There's only 4 or 5 cable companies in America and 3 phone companies, so it's very easy to do it from Florida. However, we do business in 46 states. Haven't done anything in Wyoming or Montana yet, but we're on our way. So,
beautiful country out there.
Clearly, Texas is a huge market for us.
Same here with Brightview. It's nationwide. We service most states. Especially the ones that Castle's in or any other company fairly large is in. That's Brightview's there.
Fantastic. And Leo, I apologize, I didn't get a chance to ask you how technology impacts what you do and the products and services you provide. Could you share just a little bit?
Absolutely. It's everything we do is dealing with technology. The history of the industry was video marketing, especially in Texas and Florida, where there were deals done with the developers or the entire community and all that. But typically very limited competition, but thank God the world's changed. And it's changed from having a lot more providers and having options for the community. And a lot of times we find that a board or management just thinks of a traditional cable company, a traditional phone company to try to get internet service and video service from that. But it has changed dramatically. Obviously, the last 90 days, that's been demonstrated pretty much throughout the United States and the world, how critical it is to basically have, again, the bandwidth in your home. These things we all carry around. This is really a computer. It's not a phone. So in order to enable this computer, they have to work inside of buildings. Is one of them. And number 2, you got to have sufficient bandwidth. We've never worked this hard as the last 3 months because we've had to scramble for a lot of our customers nationwide, making sure they had the right bandwidth, because kids from home on a Monday morning when they started learning from at home had a hard time trying to get to be able to see the teacher on the screen. So it's everything we do, and we are very excited about the future and how we can help associations basically save money through technology like BrightView and Securitas using technology. The bottom line is that you need a network. You need a See, Siri's interrupting me right now. So technology. But basically, you need a network in order to make these things work and provide better services to your residents and save money for the association. You need a water sensor these days for BrightView out there to make sure that you don't overwater, you don't spend too much on water, Securitas, you need a network, everything. And what Alex does, that's the beginning of it. So that's all we do, is making sure that you are not subjected to monopoly, but you have options for your residents and provide with the highest quality of internet and video services.
Okay, excellent. So I think we'll jump to our next question, which is, what are you seeing in the industry today? And maybe as we go to each of you, if you could kind of speak a little bit to maybe some examples that you're seeing, maybe trends, feedback that you're getting from your clients. So why don't we jump to Adam from Brightview. Adam, if you could kind of fill us in a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, in our industry, we're seeing most businesses make huge strides in the movement toward a more virtual approach in all areas of operation. You know, much of this is stemming from the forced pivot due to the recent pandemic. But in our case, it's really just accelerated what we were already doing, the transition that was already in progress. You know, we've invested in mobile technologies, for example, electronic time capture for all of our employees, which kind of replaces that formerly paper process, you know, which gives our crews more time to dedicate back to our clients, as well as promoting and seeing the benefit of that social distancing aspect with that as well. You know, being the largest landscape maintenance provider in the industry, we do feel it's important to kind of set the standard for effective technology. So a great example would be our Hoa Connect Platform. You know, this is a platform that not many other landscape vendors have, especially not proprietary. Usually it's done third party. But with BrightView, it's managed in-house, it's customized per community. And this really follows those guidelines of social distancing, right? Effective communication, streamlined communication between the manager, the HOA board, to really gain results quicker. And at the end of the day, that benefits everybody, Castle, its clients, all of the above.
And when you're using all of those technologies, how involved are the board members in that process? You mentioned some of the reports. How do they
Sure.
kind of get visibility to that?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think with all great technology, the data you get from the technology is more valuable than the technology itself, right? At the end of the day, the board members are the ones who kind of control it and can use, for example, that Hoa Connect platform to see where are the trends in landscape service requests, what holding us accountable, right? So that board is essential in every piece of our technology, not only through the daily operations or through the daily use of the technology, but at the end of the month, when they get that report, we kind of work together and with the board members and the manager themselves to kind of go through and dissect it and figure out exactly where can we spend more time? How do we be more efficient? How do we save more money?
Excellent. I know from my experience interacting with board members, it is a great tool to be able to, you know, literally see on a weekly or a bi-weekly or monthly basis, whatever, you know, whenever their landscape committee meetings are, for example, you know, how many work orders were opened, you know, what was
Exactly.
the highest area of use? Was it, you know, plant replacement? Was it, you know, an irrigation break, whatever it might be? You know, how many days has it been since the work order was opened? How quickly was it closed? Do we have any that are aging? Not only, and I appreciate you saying, you know, hold the team accountable, but also it really helps you manage the association effectively.
Sure.
Again,
Sure
you know,
does.
time is money, and you get to see some trends in the association, which has been very eye-opening. And in the old days, before technology, would have
Yeah.
been a completely manual process.
Exactly. Yeah.
And not as easy to track. So really it's powerful.
It is.
Tommy, can you kind of give us some feedback, what you're seeing and maybe some trends and some real life examples?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of what Adam said, regarding the data holds true for the security industry as well. So years ago, we started arming our officers with a mobile phone for them to track their tours, track incidents through communities, and that provided data to those communities, letting them see, when were peak times, that was it visitors coming through, where we're using a visitor management system to really gauge the flow of visitors, or we're using a guard touring application to see when events were happening at a pool or our community center. So, data has really become the backbone, and technology is helping us with that. So, there is a major shift in the industry now, in the security industry, going towards technology. So, replacing on-site officers at times with cameras, with remote guardings. Really, this is a cost savings measure, and it's a security measure as well. So, cameras are sometimes cheaper than people. Cameras don't call into work sick. They also don't sleep at night. Not that any of our officers have ever fallen asleep in a guardhouse at night. So we are seeing communities supplementing this on-site security with a remote guarding type solution, really to augment that annual spend of on-site officers. So maybe just keeping the 24/7 officer at the front gate, but moving away from having that officer doing patrols at a clubhouse or at a pool, in order to reduce spend. We also see technology with it being access control at HOA, clubhouses, or pools. So allowing your residents to get into those amenities using a key fob that is tracked. And again, you're providing analytics and data based on all of these events going on throughout the community. So how many people are coming into the pool? I know now that's a big thing with social distancing, is how many people are in the pool, how many people are in the clubhouse. With access control, with cameras, with analytics, we're able to do both of those things, and we're able to send alerts down in real time if the number of people exceed the limit of the pools. And then with access control, as far as buildings are concerned as well, if the number exceeds how many people should be in that building, we're able to provide real-time reporting of those events.
Yeah, that's great, Tommy. I can tell you I've got, real life examples in our own communities where we've got some communities that have beautiful amenities, but they're not, they don't have enough number of homes to have, full-time staff, or to your point, have staff, in the evenings when the pool may still be open. So that remote guard option and the talk down options are a great, avenue to go, and really has helped in some communities where they may have had issues, with teenagers hopping the fence, after hours, or, getting up to the things we all used to do when we were teenagers, when we were once young. I've got 3 teenagers, so I can pick on teenagers. I'm allowed to do that. And the remote access, the remote video, feeds have been very helpful. And I know in a lot of our tower communities, even having the technology with the guards checking in at each different point and getting those reports back has helped us to say, what, if we can patrol this area a little bit more, often, and this one a little bit less, it can really help us, affect a greater level of security in the building. So it really is neat to see that the technology does make a difference in, not only the effectiveness of the team on site, but also the everyday lives of what's happening for the residents that are living in the community. So it's powerful. Alex, if you could share with us a little bit your thoughts. Oh, sorry, Tommy, did you want to say something else?
No, I was just going to say that, teenagers and I guess adults alike in some senses like throwing chairs in the pool and jumping in the pool after hours. So, technology and remote guarding allows us to, kind of proactively shift that mindset away from your community.
Right. Alex, what are your thoughts?
Sure. So we have our platform allows us to see the generalized asks in the industry as a whole. And what we are seeing communities looking for today are along the lines of what Tommy's talking about. So to keep the right number of people in the amenities, reservation systems for amenities are on the rise from a search perspective. Remote monitoring solutions like the one that Tommy just described is a huge one right now going on. Mass communication is another big one that's happened. So we've even seen a 23% increase in the number of emails going out to residents over the last 3 months. So communications is a big one that's going on. Remote meeting solutions is something that has increased exponentially over the last 3 months as well. And although it'll probably go down over the next few months, I don't think it'll ever go back to the numbers it was before this. Electronic voting solutions is a big ask today. And problems with bandwidth. So services like Leo's service are something that's big, particularly in the condo areas is where we're seeing it the most right now. But overall, the industry has been modernizing over the last, I would say, 3 to 4 years. But in the last 3 months, we've seen adoptions in technologies that I would have never predicted would have been adopted by the industry in the next 5 years, much less in 3 months.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the one thing about change, right? It just forces us all to. I mean, look at us all today. We've had an unbelievable positive response to all of the webinars that that we've been doing, and the number of people typically in before COVID. Castle would be doing today's event, at a hotel, for example, with breakfast. So I apologize, we don't have breakfast for you today, but the upside to that is it's, these are recorded, they're put on the website, people can watch them at their leisure. So there's been a lot of positives that have come out as well, and we didn't anticipate the board members' willingness to spend time and to really, it shows that there's a real desire for education, which is fantastic. So that's great. So I think we'll go to the next question, and that is, with transitioning from COVID-19 to the new normal, where do you see technology taking us? And Leo, if you wouldn't mind starting us off.
Love to. Obviously, we've been very involved. And for everything that the panels are talking about, you need a network. And typically it's been your residents would buy service on their own, either video or internet, and you really as a board or as a manager had no control over the network. The developer typically would buy 8 to 10 different networks. So what we do, because we do work nationwide, we have a lot of respect in the industry, we're able to move massive amount of units. We kind of bring different communities together. It's their own decision at the end of the day who they want to partner with. But what we want to change is if you're building a new community, or if you're building, obviously you need fiber, regardless of what these cable companies and phone companies tell you. At the end of the day, like Alex said, there is such a demand every day increase that you need to have the capacity of fiber. So if you're rebuilding a community with fiber, we ask the property, where do you wish to have connectivity? Maybe in a second or third gate in an HOA where you can't afford to have a guard or overnight and all that, and be able to give the fiber to access to the community, the entrance to the community in a common area. And also, what else we see is the Wi-Fi. We all want to have a mobile device and use that and be able to log into networks. So we're seeing community Wi-Fi. The other thing has happened, not even coming, is telehealth. There's a lot of health providers that are offering that service, and you need good bandwidth in order for them to see either vital information from you or any type of bandwidth requiring technology. So we're beginning to see, and we will see, I think, probably in an HOA, in a clubhouse, a secure room where someone can go in and share health information with security. So that's already beginning to happen. We're getting a lot of questions about that. And then the ability to turn the tables on a company that, again, they want to do one-on-one sell to an individual. We want you to be in control. We want you to be the control of that and using the network to buy all these services and all this technology and make it work for the benefit of your residents and for the board and the management and capability. Security, access control, and all those things is obviously touchless security that I think Tommy has particularly, I think, talked about. That's what it requires, the capability to use maybe the eyes or the phone as well as the entry point into the community, into common areas and all that. So that's what we're seeing, the need for more and more speed.
Right. Excellent. And Adam, how about you from a landscaping standpoint?
Yeah, I think the short answer to where do you see technology taking us is simply the future, right? I mean, I hate to sound, cliche like that, but COVID-19 has proven to us that the new normal has shifted from crowded offices and areas to remote working and virtual technology. I think that technology is going to continue to evolve, especially in the landscaping industry, as well as maybe Tommy and Securitas. And we're going to find new collective ways to kind of offer better solutions, a more streamlined process and more savings. The companies that are willing and able to adapt and evolve to these new measures are going to be the ones that offer the most value to communities and HOAs alike. Our Hoa Connect platform has a custom community page, in which case, so each community can sign in and find announcements. Maybe, we could partner with somebody like Securitas, and they can announce security protocols or new announcements on something like that. So I think moreover, where is it taking us, but how is it getting us there, right? And I think a lot of that's going to depend on the companies that are willing and able to adapt. Like I said, this technology platform and most technology platforms are instant communication. That's been previously absent in the industry across the HOA board, really. I mean, it's been done by phone calls and emails, right? This is instant communication back and forth from the vendor to the property manager to the end user, the HOA board. And if you get similar to what Alex and Tommy have spoken about, and Leo, it's a collective growth. And, it's just that instant communication, that streamlined version of the future.
Yeah, it's interesting. We're seeing in the communities, boards doing board meetings, for example, via Zoom or, one of the platforms. And again, prior to COVID-19, that probably wouldn't have been necessarily well received from many of the residents, but this whole process has shown people that you can still be very effective and the board can still do business and be transparent. And in a lot of circumstances, it's made it, more convenient, again, for residents who maybe, couldn't join a board meeting at, 5 o'clock or whatever, because they would be in the car driving home, but now they can just, listen to it on their phone or whatever it might be. So it is interesting. We are seeing people getting more and more comfortable with it, which is great. Alex, anything to add from your end?
So yeah, I would say over the next 5 years, we're not quite going to return back to normal. Like, I think the remote work has increased substantially and will stay substantially higher than before. And so the one thing, if I'm a board member, I'd be watching out for today is if you have to if you're going into a contract event with your networking services, a company like Leo's is indispensable. The amount of data that's going to come over the next 5 years is going to be exponentially higher. And when I was a director of IT at a management company, my biggest pain point was going to a community that had enough bandwidth for 30 residents and they had 1,000 in the community. Something like that is going to happen again in the next 5 years because of the Internet of Things. So definitely the bandwidth in your community is paramount when it comes to making sure you have enough.
Okay, excellent. Tommy, anything to add before we go to the next question?
Yeah, for us, we've seen COVID as just really an accelerator for technology and the adoption of technology. So, when I look over at my past, people adopting technology has always been the hardest thing. I think for all of us on this call, getting our residents to adopt the technology has been the hardest thing that a lot of us have gone through. But, now that seems to be just second nature. Calls like this have accelerated the adoption and the use of technology. So, again, when it comes to on-site guarding and supplementing that with remote guarding, when it comes to access control, we mentioned touchless access control and touchless entry. That's becoming very popular. So, again, with all of these services and everything that we're providing here in a technology realm, we trust Leo and his team to provide us with that solid backbone so that we're all able to connect.
Yes, that's very important, right? If you don't have the foundation, everything else kind of crumbles from there. So, okay, so I think we'll go on to the next question, which is, today many feel unsure about security and the economy in general. So, how can technology alleviate these concerns? Alex, do you want to start us off?
Sure. So we did see a drop in the number of searches over the last 3 months, but that drops now over. So we're starting to see more and more searches from community managers for vendors and services online than we did before this whole thing started. So in the end, I think this is going to be temporary. It's definitely going to affect the economy substantially, but if you've noticed, this industry, which is one of the more technology backwards industries out there, has adopted new technologies very, very quickly. Like meetings like these never really used to happen before. And today they're happening daily. Like it was almost overnight that this happened. So I think the catalyst of the pandemic helped these new remote technologies, which will eventually become more productive for businesses. So I think technology is going to help the economy grow even faster after we get through this period. Now, how long this period will last is anybody's guess, but it will be better on the other side for sure.
Right. Okay. Excellent. And Adam, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, just jumping off of what Alex said, I mean, technology now has given us immediate direct access to information that we've never had before. In that regard, technology is going to make us safer, right? The more informed we are, the safer we'll be. So security wise, I mean, technology is full circle. The right technology can keep us physically safe as well, by giving, a particular community board, property manager, the ability to conduct business 100% virtually, just like we're doing now. Not only quicker results, but decreased overhead, right? And monetary savings. So security, economy, technology, it all works together. And if we implement it, adopt the right technology and integrate it with what we're using now, I mean, we've solved the big problem. And I think Alex hit the nail on the head. The economy is going to grow faster as soon as we get over this because of technology. So it's huge.
Okay. And Tommy, what about from your side of the fence?
Yeah, no, technology only makes us stronger. It provides us with data. It provides us with real-time access. With the data and the real-time access, we're able to develop trends. And hopefully in the future, we see ourselves as being, a more proactive security provider because we can, predict what's going to happen at a community at this certain time based on past events, based on analytics that we're able to grab from technology. Cameras give us a real-time view. Cameras allow anybody in the HOA that has access to those to have that real-time view as well, getting reporting, allowing for that rapid response.
Okay, excellent. And Leo, any thoughts?
Absolutely. Who would have thought that walking into a condominium or HOA, your temperature would be taken just by walking into the door? Believe it or not, there's a testing going on in the New York subway system where they're using UV lighting as potentially being able to kill the virus and all that. So it's amazing what things are happening. We just be careful because you're going to be bombarded with a lot of different vendors that don't have the qualifications to sell you, maintain, this type of technology. You'll be bombarded by a lot of different vendors, a lot of them over the internet, and you don't know who you're dealing with. So to make sure that you have someone that has the capability to basically break that down for you, such as Alex's program, to be able to buy products and services from qualified vendors, that Castle deals with, and some of his other clients and all that. So be careful with what you're buying, and you may not be paying the best price or getting the best service from these providers. So you see a group like us or anybody that's out there that has the background that can also drive down pricing and be able to buy. So what we're finding is one individual condo buying for 200 units doesn't have the buying power than being able to use Alex's software and 1,000 properties that is out there.
Yeah, it's a great point, Leo. I'm glad you brought that up. To kind of put it in a nice bow for our board members, all of these things that we're talking about, and you guys are great panelists, so thank you for being here, because it gives everybody insight into each different field. I think our advice from a Castle standpoint would be, as you're considering each of these things, treat it like you would treat any other process that the board is going through. Have your management team, narrow down a group of vendors, vet them through the appropriate channels, talk to who they've worked with in the past, have them come into your board meeting and, do a mini presentation and have a little bit of a Q&A period. And then from there, you can peel back the onion and dive in a little bit deeper, because a lot of this is new. And, I think especially for, I keep going back to Adam and even Tommy to a certain degree with the security, that the industries are, the same. They're still protecting people and you're still providing landscape services, but you're adding technology on top of that. And it creates a whole other plethora of things that you can bring value to the table. And so educating the boards and educating the residents on that is a process. So just be patient with that if you're a board member and go through that vetted process. And I think you'll end up in a good place at the end. We have a couple of questions that did come in that are kind of more specific. So I think I'll start with the first one. And it says, what is the most frequently raised concern by residents in gated communities in relation to the new normal? So I think, Tommy, you're probably the best one to answer that. Is what are you hearing from your clients or from your property managers? Is there something that the residents are in the gated communities saying, hey, we're concerned about this?
For us, what we hear the most of is communities and commercial buildings wanting the temperature scanning services. So that seems to be the most pressing question that we get. Again, a service that we've started to provide as well. But everybody wants their temperature scan now before they go in. So, we've seen it even extend to visitors coming into the community. And then again, when we look at pools and common areas, limiting traffic to those areas. So we've seen a big uptick in remote guarding for pools, being able to count the people in the pool and then around the surrounding area as well. So I think around COVID, around social distancing, around temperature scanning, that's really been the biggest uptick of questions around that for us.
Okay, great. And I can say from a property management standpoint, I agree with everything you said. The other one we're getting is, guests. Some of our communities that have amenities, they've opened some of or all of the amenities back up. So tennis, pickleball, the pool, for example. But it varies by community. And so some communities may have it open back up, but only for residents, and you can't bring guests in. So they're wanting to make sure that that's all being heavily monitored, et cetera, et cetera. Another question that we had, and this one will be for you, Leo. It says, is a community-wide Wi-Fi solution available? I know that's a very broad question, but maybe you can kind of interpret what they were really asking.
Yeah, absolutely. It's basically taking a hold of telecommunications in your community. Because again, we're traditional. You don't even know that there was an agreement signed by the original developer 10, 20 years ago. So take out the old agreements or ask a copy of an agreement from your current cable or telephone company. That's where it all starts in terms of what's the capability to go back to that provider, or if you're not under contract, go to a brand new provider to be able to see if you can do a community-wide. You would have to probably commit the entire community, but it's a lot of benefit because instead of paying $70, $80, $100 for internet, you typically can buy from $20 or $30 or $35 for the entire community and have Wi-Fi available throughout the community, so the security guards can walk around the community, board members, management can walk through and be able to use that, and obviously the homeowners as well. So it's doable, but it starts with a contract. You have to see what commitments the previous boards have made to a cable or a phone company or a third party. Again, make sure that you're dealing with you're going to have a lot of people knocking on your door trying to sell you a Wi-Fi system. And it needs to be built properly. It needs to be maintained. It needs to be upgraded because, more and more bandwidth requires new equipment. 5G, we all have heard the ads from all the carriers. 5G is not quite ready yet, but it's coming. it is going to be required, and Wi-Fi is one of the ways to get that. It also save money for the homeowners for the management of the property. So it's absolutely doable.
Okay, excellent. Next question is, I think pretty much everyone might have some comments on this one. It says, regarding operational cost, what has been market feedback for service quality versus pricing for technology and deliverables? So maybe Adam, we'll start with you. I think basically they're saying, you know, this is great, the technology that you offer, but how does the cost, you know, how's the cost been received for that?
Yeah, so I guess I'm an indifferent person to start with. With Brightview, our new technology platforms, especially the ones we use internally, do they drive up our cost a substantial amount to cost more to the client? The answer is no. In fact, for our Hoa Connect platform, we charge nothing for it. It comes with our service. So that's something that we've been trying to implement inside of Brightview. Is everybody's moving towards this technology, and as opposed to monopolizing the market, right, and charging for it like everybody else is going to be doing, how do we position ourselves a little differently and offer this technology and inhibit that cost, and really just turn it into value. So in our case, their cost, the community's cost in particular, let's say a random HOA's landscape maintenance fee would not increase at all with the use of our technology. In fact, it ends up decreasing our overhead ultimately with the streamlined communication. So at the end of the day, it's a win-win situation from operations to a quality standpoint.
Okay, excellent. Tommy, anything to add from your end?
Yeah, from our side, we're typically able to decrease spend when we implement some sort of remote guarding application while providing better service in most cases. So if we take the example, we have an officer doing random patrols around a pool or a clubhouse. Well, that officer's typically only around those areas for 15 or 20 minutes out of that tour in an entire night. So you're leaving that pool, open for 7.5 hours, whereas technology can cover that gap of time as well. So a lower cost and then providing more security.
Excellent. And Alex, how about from a vendor smart standpoint?
Sure. So there's really two types of technologies out there when it comes to ROI. You have the ones that are making you more efficient, so they essentially cost nothing, and then you have the ones that provide additional benefits. So for our technology, for instance, we couldn't do the service that we do unless we provided the technology at no cost, and that technology saved the manager time. Like literally, that's what we do there. But for something like pool amenity management or remote services, what that provides is an additional service that through technology you can make it cost effective. So it will cost you some more to have 24/7 monitoring at a pool, but it's not having 3 shifts of guards sitting at a pool from a cost perspective. So technology just helps to lower your costs overall for whatever you're trying to do, even if it is more money than you're spending today in the end. And all technology over time goes down drastically. It's just like every other product, but 10 times as fast. So something that's $2 a door today is 50 cents a door 5 years from now.
Right. And I think that speaks to everything you guys have said. It speaks to, again, the need for the managers to invite the vendors in at a board meeting and do presentations so that, the board members can really chat through how, the features that are offered, how that's going to, affect the bottom line. And in many cases, it will actually help the bottom line. So that's great. I think the last question we have is, how do you make new technology easy to use for communities with older generations? So I can tell you from a castle standpoint, because we've implemented technology at many, many, many communities and in different, versions of what we're talking about today. So I think communication is key from that standpoint. So, telling the residents about what's coming. We've hosted, resident events and multiple events at different days and different times. So if we were going to roll out, the landscaping, for example, a landscaping, app, we would partner with the landscape vendor, and we would do, tutorials for the residents. We'd have sessions that the residents could come. But maybe Adam, can you walk through kind of how you guys roll that out in a mini scenario?
Sure. Yeah. As you said, I think trainings as well as the original presentation really shows, what easy to use technology can do for the older communities. And a lot of that has been absent for so long that it's new, right? And some people are afraid of change. So, with those tutorials and those training sessions, you really alleviate that nervousness or the fear of moving forward with technology. But at the end of the day, when you build technology, and ours proprietary, luckily we have an in-house team that's able to kind of manipulate the screen and how it looks per community. We want to get the resident or the end user to the end result as fast as possible with as little amount of clicks as possible to make it easy to use, right? Not only that, but in communities with older generations, we'll also stage an iPad or technology up at the main office, maybe where Castle's offices are at the pool house, where those residents maybe don't feel comfortable doing it themselves, but they can use some help up at a stationed iPad that only is kind of screenshotted and still screened on our technology. So I think there's a lot of different ways to help a community out. Just depends on each community and what that demographic looks like.
Okay, excellent. And we had another question come in, and I think, Tommy, this is probably for maybe for you, or perhaps someone else may have the answer, but is there a large difference between wired and wireless camera technologies? You have an opinion on that? Or Leo, you may have some thoughts too.
Yeah, so I can give my opinion and then I'll bounce it over to Leo. For my opinion, when we're providing security services and we're providing services in real time, we prefer to have a wired camera. We know that the connection is always going to be constant. The camera is always going to be online. And we're able to get more analytics out of wired cameras than we are wireless cameras. So for us, when we're installing cameras throughout a community or at a pool or a clubhouse, we're always going to be using wired cameras.
Anyone else? Go ahead, Leo.
I mean, we didn't rehearse this, but I couldn't agree with you more. So it definitely wired. Yes, wire is definitely the way to go. You could have wireless on top of that, but you in our mind, you need to have a wire there that is reliable. You could always have Wi-Fi capability for that device and all that, but it would feel better when there's a wire.
Okay, excellent. And we're just about out of time, and I think we've answered all of the live questions. So Adam, I'm just going to turn it back to each of you panelists, and you can just say a quick whatever you'd like to say in parting. And Adam, I think we'll start with you.
Great. Yeah. First, thank you for this. I mean, Castle, obviously, great company, growing, innovative, and Leo and Alex and Tommy, it's been great to be able to do this, as well as kind of informing everybody. But moving forward, technology is going to change, and the world's changing. And I think, as I mentioned earlier, the companies that are willing to adapt and overcome really provide the best value to your clients, to Castle, to HOAs, and not only that, but the ones that are willing to work together, company on company, and kind of work together for a common solution. But technology is changing. Technology is evolving, and Brightview's right here next to you. And we're happy to help out. And although it's uncommon that a landscape company implements technology to further, our quest for customer greatness and servicing our customers' needs, it's important to know that we're here and that we do have a team ready and willing to implement whatever technology it takes to help a community out. So we thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, Adam. Tommy.
No, I'll echo a lot of what Adam said. We definitely appreciate Castle for letting us join today. It's always good to join with other professionals as well to talk technology. So, again, any questions that come up from anybody on this, feel free to reach out to me, reach out to anyone else on this call. Securitas is a global company, so we can protect your community here and we can protect your community in Europe. So let us know where we can help.
Excellent. Thank you. Alex?
So echoing Tommy and Adam, thank you, Fiona and Castle, for organizing this. It's great to be a part of it. Overall, I think everything that's happening right now is temporary. It'll all settle down. And in the end, I think things will be much better. People are adopting technology much more than they were before. So that's going to remove a fear from people overall, and it'll allow them to try more and more new technologies over the next few years. So I think it's a very exciting time for the industry right now.
Excellent. And last but not least, Leo.
Thank you, Fiona and Castle, for putting this together. I think this is very informative. It's always amazing to us when we go into HOA or condo and we see what a manager is expected to know about everything, HR to technology to 100 other things. So it takes a professional organization like Castle to basically discern that out and try to find partners like all of us here to help with that. We are a big proponent that you should not have to find money to implement some of this technology. So take out your cable TV agreement or internet agreement you have, and we will find money for you and to pay for Adam's software or Tommy's or anybody else's that technology. Also, we happen to live in Florida. This is our home, and Texas is my second home as well. But don't be concerned that you should only be looking at your community to be able to negotiate a deal that brings you money or savings to your homeowner that can pay for this one technology. You're going to see more and more of this technology, and you're the old demographics. They're not afraid. Don't think that you're providing them with an obstacle by putting things in place that are technology driven. It's the opposite. You're making it easier, their lives easier for them. So thank you again, and looking forward to hearing from anybody who may have any questions. How we can find you money to pay for this technology.
Perfect. Thanks so much, you guys, for all being here. There was one last minute, I'm down to the wire, but one last minute question that did come in, and it's, is there any interest or new normal for autonomous fixed post robotics that handle specific duties, such as access control, visitor management, etc.? So we're going to run out of time. We won't be able to dive into that, but any quick thoughts? We've got about a minute and a half.
We're seeing it already, yes, worldwide and all that. But again, you need the network inside your community to be able to drive that. But yes.
And I can say from a Castle standpoint, I know that we are always looking for ways to improve and to take any kind of process that is, generally a completely, repetitive process, and we're looking to automate that from, behind the scenes at our home office. We've also seen virtual technology, in the guards, which is a little bit, I think, of what Tommy was talking about, where, as opposed to having a live guard there's a screen that you can hit, and a robot kind of comes up on the screen and talks you through whatever the process may be. But what I will do is I will circulate this question out to all of the panelists today, and if anyone has anything else to add, we'll make sure that gets sent directly to you. So thanks again, everybody, for joining. We really appreciate all of you being here today and sharing your expertise. I know I learned a few things. That's why I love doing these. And for all of our board members that have joined, thank you for being here. We appreciate all that you do for your communities and for your residents. So stay strong and stay safe. Have a great day.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.